What is mindfulness? What is this word that is thrown about these days by Buddhists, by non-Buddhists, by Zen people, claiming that it's the panacea to what we have to experience? What is it? To me, it's about awareness. Awareness of who we are, of what other people are, what they stand for, what this event stands for. And how do we go about doing this? It seems like this elusive quality, this elusive thing that we're all striving for. And I'll tell you about my journey and how that started earlier this year, about why I think it's important. And why is it important here at the Candy School? A lot of us coming in, for me, for sure, have never felt as overwhelmed with the amount of events going on at the similar time that we have to cross our minds through. Are we always paying attention to where we are? Or are we thinking about what's happening in the next hour? When do I have to dash off to? What's the next email that I have to send? Are we even listening to the stories that are being told in front of us? And my journey began in February this year. I was in Ann Arbor, which is where I went to undergrad 4 years ago and hadn't been back since. And I was walking around on a strangely non-snowy day, right? And then I was walking alone by myself around, waiting for some friends to appear. And lo and behold, in this corner next to me, by this alley, I hear these words coming out. And I'm curious. It goes, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Now, I'm not a Hare Krishna devotee or anything, but hearing these words and seeing these three people, these unknown people, these strangers, dancing in the alleyway, and I can tell without talking to them that they're full of happiness because they're in that moment enjoying themselves. And so I feel compelled. I feel like the only thing that I can do is to go join them. Right? Without a word, without any communication, without breaking any of their rhythm, I simply join them. And I put down my bag, and I go dance with them, and I go harmonize with them, even though my singing is absolutely terrible, and we dance together without communication, and it ends, and I leave. And then I thought, that was one of the most amazing experiences that I'll remember. But why isn't the rest of my life like that? Right? And is this something that's limited? It can't be, because these are not people I know. It's not a result of some long-standing relationship that we've had. It's not about the content of what they're saying. I don't even know what that is. Right? It's just about seeing something that I relate to and I want. I desire this. I want this state of engagement. And so how do I bring that here? How do I bring that especially to Harvard Kennedy School, where every day in half of my classes, I'm writing emails in the back, trying to catch up. And I'm not even listening to what the professors have to say. I'm not listening to, I'm here, I say I'm open-minded, and yet I don't listen to Republicans as soon as they talk, And how can I say that I'm learning, which is what I'm supposed to be here for, if I'm not listening? And it's all about creating practices, right? And so there are different ways to do it. So I've decided, since this is a journey, I'm by no means anywhere close to the end of this journey. I'm only at the beginning. And so since this is a journey, for me, what I said is, well, let me take my journeys and make them mindful journeys. I don't have an iPod. Well, I have an iPod. I don't use it anymore. I walk to school every day, and I stop, and I look at the amazing trees. I look at the trees that the leaves have fallen, but yet the branches are there, and that itself is a structural beauty. I smell the fumes of a truck. I smell various things. I smell roses, I smell flowers, but everything is there. I just had to pay attention to it. And that's one way to do it. I mean, Molly talked about her way, about every Sunday sitting down and engaging in this period of self-reflection. There are many ways to do it, and each of us can find the way that works for us. And the reason why it's also important, I found out recently, is through this activity that not just me, but many of our classmates at HKS have been engaging in for the exactly 1 month ago we started. Does anybody know what it is? So mindfulness is like growing a mustache. You know, in a way, it allows me to see more of myself. I mean, I don't see the mustache. I mean, you know, it's like, and I forget where it is, or that I even have one, right? But everybody else. And the interesting thing is the same mustache that inspires completely different comments from people, right? Every day, somebody comes up to me and says, "That's an awesome stash, man." And I'm pumped up by it. And then 3 hours later, somebody's like, "You know, Rahul, I got to tell you honestly, you just look really creepy. You know, I would not let my kids near you." You know, and what am I to make of this? And the answer is not to rely necessarily on what people say and their impressions, but to take things into account and realize, like, my God, that is just something that's on my face and that's physical and people feel comfortable telling me. What about every action that I take every day? What about the comments that I make in class? What about the gestures that I signal to people without even knowing? I mean, there are so many things going on in us that we need to figure out ourselves before, like Maria said, you're going to help others. How can you help others? How can you listen to others if you're not listening to yourself? Thank you.